And welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome to the preview of Girona against Barcelona at the Camp Nou. Week 5 of La Liga is upon us. The Catalan derby is here and will take shape in Barcelona. Let's discuss that encounter in some detail right here. Coming up is the preview. The game will be coming to us live from the Camp Nou tomorrow evening at 8:45 local time, and that's a time, really, a kick-off time that really does seem to suit us in the league, in the Champions League as well, under the lights at home, a good atmosphere, and that's a kick-off time, really, which should attract a good crowd at the Camp Nou tomorrow for what is the Catalan derby. Two good teams, and with that in mind, you guys are certainly predicting another strong home win. That's always good to see. Good predictions as always, guys, and the vast majority of you expecting that win by 3+ goals. And of course, coming into this game, confidence right now is high. In the camp, it's good. The players are feeling good. The coach, Valverde, I think he'd probably be pretty relieved at the way he played against PSV. That got a lot of people off his back after that performance against Real Sociedad. And like I say, we started well in the league. 5 out of 5 wins in La Liga. You look around us at Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, both of those teams have dropped points already in the league. We haven't, and that's a very good thing. And coming into this weekend, you know, we sat very nicely at the top of the table. Maximum points, like I say, 2 ahead of Real Madrid coming into this weekend, who currently face Espanyol at the Bernabeu tonight. Atletico Madrid earlier today beat Getafe by 2-0, but still, they're not within reach, and they're not really that close to us as it stands right now. And although not every win, you know, every single game hasn't really seen us play the vintage Barcelona style of football, there have been a few scrapes here and there. We've gone behind, really, in our last 2 games and came back in those 2. There certainly was, like I say, that good feeling at the Camp Nou on Tuesday night in the Champions League, when we really did sweep aside PSV, scoring 4 sensational goals, really, in the process. Messi with the hat-trick, and that is what you want to see with Barcelona. You want to see good attacking play, you want to see goals, and that's what's really important now in this game. Build on that, do it again, go out there again, show that quality on the ball, because we know that we have it. We know that we have the players to play these kind of games, but you need to do it as often as you possibly can, because we want Messi, you know, to be allowed to take up those positions that he did against PSV. We want him in those kind of areas of the pitch to play at his very best and do what he does best, getting involved in and around the penalty area, scoring goals, creating goals, running from deep, because that's what you'll always see with Messi, and when he does that, he will reward you every single time. We want to see Dembele playing well, we want to see Suarez impressing, we want that influencer midfield, and we got a clean sheet as well to go with it on Tuesday night. And that's why it's important now that we welcome Girona this Sunday with exactly the same attitude. Continue on that path and win this game as convincingly as you possibly can. And in the build-up to that PSV game, I spoke quite at length, really, about our outstanding Champions League home record that we currently have. But actually, in the league, we've been even more dominant and have an even longer streak in the league at the Camp Nou. We haven't actually lost a game there since way back in September 2016. That was way back now, over 2 years ago, when we last lost at the Camp Nou. That was Alaves in a shock 2-1 defeat. But since then, we've been extremely strong at home. That really is some streak and should give the players huge confidence every time they step out there onto the Camp Nou turf. They should be feeling good. They should be feeling extra confident. But onto our opposition, Girona, and as far as they're concerned, they've coped pretty well so far this season after they lost their coach Pablo Machin in the summer, who actually left to go to Sevilla. He did a really, really good job at Girona last season, and it was going to be difficult every single time to replace somebody like that. But what they have done is they turned to a former Barcelona player, former Barcelona B coach as well, and of course, more formally, Real Sociedad coach, Eusebio Sacristan. He's come in, he's taken over at Girona, and he has overseen a very decent start of the season in his new job. They didn't start all that brilliantly, though. They drew their opening match of the season against newly promoted Valladolid by 0-0, but then heavily beaten by Real Madrid 4-1 at home in their next game. But they really have turned around their fortunes in recent weeks with some good displays, and most importantly for them, some very good results. Firstly, they beat Villarreal away from home. That was by a goal to 0, a really impressive result to go away to a club like Villarreal, good players they have, and win there. And that was then followed up last Monday, it was, with a great win, really, over Celta Vigo at home. That was by 3-2. They are scoring goals, Girona, for sure of that, and they'll be coming into this game with a bit of newfound confidence. They'll be feeling good after back-to-back wins in La Liga, and coming into this weekend, they did sit in the top half of the league in 10th position. And if I did have to pick a man to watch out for, really, with Girona right now, it would be ex-Espanyol striker Christian Stuani. He's got 3 goals so far this season, and he's scored in both of those wins that I mentioned, against Villarreal and also against Celta Vigo, and he'll certainly be worth keeping an eye on. A very good striker, good in the air as well, good at his hold-up play. But in terms of previous meetings against Girona, since they were promoted basically to La Liga last season, we have a 100% record against them. Very strong against Girona, 2 out of 2 wins in the league. Last season, we won at the Camp Nou, scoring 6 goals as we beat them 6-1. That was back in February. Suarez with a hat-trick on the night, Messi scoring twice as well, and also Felipe Coutinho. And away from home, we actually won 3-0 at the Estadio Montilivi back in September of last year. And actually, on the subject of Girona against Barcelona at Estadio Montilivi, we actually have to discuss whether we'll be going back to their home stadium or will we be heading instead to the United States. Because as you know, there's been a lot of discussion over the past few weeks whether Girona against Barcelona in January, will it be played in the US, in Miami, or will it stay in Spain? And that both La Liga and also the clubs now have started to show some interest in taking that game abroad. However, in the most recent reports on this potential overseas game, there has been a real chance now that it won't happen. A lot of different sources are saying no chance, there is no way this game will be taken outside of Spain, and it basically says that the Spanish Football Federation will block this match at all costs. They're not going to let it happen. They say FIFA, UEFA, and also the Spanish government are all very much against taking this La Liga game to America. They don't want it to be taking place outside of Spain, so we're going to have to wait now. In the coming weeks, it should become official one way or another. Are we going to go outside and play this game halfway across the world? Are we going to go and do that? Or is it going to remain the Catalan derby in Spain, potentially, as far as the supporters go, where it belongs? But back to the task in hand, that Ernesto Valverde refused to discuss that Girona versus Barça US game. He said, you know, it's not the time to talk about it. I want to talk about the now. I want to talk about the present. Girona face a tough challenge. We've got a number of games now. You know, we're starting to play midweek matches. It might be time for a bit of rotation. He did make specifically a point there about rotation, that he is going to start now needing to use his squad and make a few changes. We're going to be coming out of the lineup, of course, in just a moment. He also didn't really want to discuss his future at the club in terms of a coaching role, of course. He said he's got his contract that expires at the end of the season, and as of right now, we don't know one way or another if he's going to extend that contract, if the club want to keep him on. He said there's definitely a chance that he could stay, and nothing is decided yet. He said it's very early in the season, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens. And here, basically, is the squad that Ernesto Valverde has opted with to face Girona tomorrow evening. Ter Stegen, Semedo, Piqué, Rakitic, Sergio Busquets, Denis Suarez, Coutinho, Arthur, Luis Suarez, Messi, Dembele, Cillessen, Longley, Jordi Alba, Munir, Roberto, Vidal, and Samuel Umtiti. That is the full squad there to face Girona tomorrow. And there's not really a lot of surprises there in that squad. Malcolm once again misses out with that ankle injury, but this should be what Valverde said was his last game that he misses with that particular problem. Also, Vermaelen, Rafinha, Sergi Tampa, who hasn't got the green light now from his injury that he was recovering from, and also Carlos Alenia miss out on that squad list. But we're going to have a look now at the starting line, at what I think potentially Valverde is going to do tomorrow. He spoke about rotation, and I would expect something like this. And as always, guys, we will start from the back, starting here with Ter Stegen and goal. I wouldn't expect too much change. There was a few calls in midweek. Would we see Cillessen in that Champions League game? The answer was no. I think Ter Stegen will remain between the sticks here. Alba at left back. I would personally go with Nelson Semedo at right back, and the reason for that is every time we see Semedo, it's sort of a double experiment, because we see Semedo at right back, where obviously he's not always a fixture, and then we see Roberto in midfield, and every time Roberto in midfield doesn't work, Semedo ends up coming off at half-time, and his confidence is really suffering. I would start him here, I would leave Roberto on the bench, give him a well-earned rest, and see what Semedo can do with 90 minutes under his belt in that right-back role. I would start playing Clement Longley, no doubt about that. Umtiti is going to be suspended for our game against Tottenham at Wembley Stadium. If it's going to be Longley that's going to play instead of Vermaelen, we need to see him playing more minutes and getting comfortable in the first team, alongside Gerard Piqué there, who will help him adapt as quickly as possible. Sergio Busquets in midfield, we saw what happens when he's not there against Real Sociedad. It didn't work. We are not the same team without this man patrolling our midfield and pulling the strings in the middle. I would go with Coutinho, who's been in really good form of late, and I would also go with Arthur Melo alongside him. He had a bit of an illness in the past few days in training, but he is in the squad, so he is fit, he is ready, and after coming on against PSV, he played a good role, he played a big part in our last goal there. I would certainly start him in this game. A nice home game, and obviously as well, we do have to bear in mind we play midweek next week against Leganes. That's away from home. We do have to make a few changes, and here I would make a few of those. Dembele, I would start him, Messi and Suarez. I would keep the front three the same, simply because there's no Malcolm. I think you could maybe play Munir through the middle, but I think Suarez actually played pretty well against PSV in midweek, and all of those three are doing so well at the moment as a trio. I wouldn't really want to break that up. Maybe in the second half you could make a few changes, bring a few new faces on, but I would start with this team, a team that I think would certainly get the job done at home against Girona. Let me know your predictions though, of course, in the comments down below. What rotations should be made? Should we go with a lot of rotations? Maybe a few less? Let me know down below. But personally, this is the sort of team that I think Valverde will go with tomorrow evening. And in terms of my match prediction for tomorrow's game, guys, I am going to go with Barcelona 4, Girona 1. I think we're going to continue strong. We're going to build on that PSV game, hopefully go with the same sort of mentality. We'll see the same sort of team out there once again, doing well and scoring some good goals. That's my prediction. Let me know your thoughts and your predictions in the comments down below. And of course, once the game is over tomorrow, I will be back to review it. Let's see what happens. Hopefully we continue our 100% record. I will see you then. Thank you as always for joining me, guys. I really do appreciate it. As always, Vesca El Barça.